The head of the Catholic Church in Ireland has apologised unreservedly to tens of thousands of women and children, the survivors of homes for unmarried mothers and babies, often run by the Church, after an inquiry revealed around 9,000 children died over the decades. At one institution in County Galway, almost 800 died, and it's thought many of them were buried in a sewage system. Our Ireland correspondent Chris Page begins his report with a man who was born in the home.
The only thing that I can remember is the beds being wet. You marched down to school. You had to go 10 minutes late in the morning. You had to leave 10 minutes early in the evening. We were all cornered off in a section of the playground by the nuns, so you wouldn't mix with the other kids. And then to be locked up, what I call a prison, really. And to think, like, why? Just because I was born out of wedlock.
PJ Haverty spent his first 7 years in the home which once stood here. Ireland in the 1950s was a deeply conservative Catholic society. Unmarried women who were pregnant were taken into religious institutions and separated from their children.
The fathers got away with it. It was always the woman that was to blame. It was always the woman's fault. And I suppose then, when you look at other people, I was lucky I got to meet my mother. If I didn't meet her, I would be blaming her for leaving me in there.
There's another reason why PJ thinks he's lucky. At the Tuam home, nearly 800 children aged up to 3 died between 1925 and 1961. Investigators believe many were buried at the site in some kind of sewage system.
When I go down there and stand there to think that I could be in there too, that religious country that we are supposed to be, that would do the likes of that to a helpless little baby.
The Irish government has committed to having this site excavated so the children whose remains are beneath this ground can be reburied with some dignity. Tuam is the mother and baby home which has generated the most international attention. But there are many other institutions in the Republic of Ireland with long histories of shame, neglect and unspeakable cruelty. The inquiry report says around 9,000 children died in the 18 homes which were investigated. That's about 1 in 7 of those who were born in the institutions. Investigators state it represents an appalling level of infant mortality. The Irish government has said there were decades of brutality.
The regime described in the report wasn't imposed on us by any foreign power. We did this to ourselves as a society. We treated women exceptionally badly. We treated children exceptionally badly.
But PJ thinks the report hasn't got to the full truth.
There was nothing there today that would say, God, that's fantastic, now my mother is being recognised, or they're apologising to my mother. And they didn't do that today.
Tonight, the leader of the Catholic Church in Ireland, Archbishop Eamon Martin, has apologised for the long-lasting emotional distress which survivors have suffered. In this country, history will still hurt for years to come. Chris Page, BBC News, Tuam.